the wall. So you do the best that you can. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is why rather than debunking every little thing and responding to every little thing, we try to teach people, critical thinking skills and how to be responsible consumers of media, right? Because teaching a horse to fish is better than catching him a fish. I don't even know what the fuck I was trying to say. What is that saying? You could lead a horse to the waterway, but you can't make him drink. Oh my God. This is why I needed to take some time off. My brain is so cooked. But we need to teach people these skills. We need to teach people these skills so that way we don't have to debunk every little thing, and that way they have the tools to debunk it themselves. I'm seriously about to Google it. What am I trying to say? You all know what I'm trying to say. You know what's on my heart, but I can't spit it out. What the fuck am I trying to say? Oh my God. I don't know. But next question. So this is from Anonymous Anomaly on Patreon, who asks, I feel like there's a story behind why you named one of your dogs Poopy. Also, can we please get pet photo updates? Well, of course. So here's some pet photos that will be put on the screen by my editor. And in terms of why I named him Poopy, I don't know when it really stuck. It just kind of did when he was very, very young. Maybe, I called him a poopy boy when he shit on the carpet, because Vladimir was my very first dog, as an adult. I've had family dogs before, but I've never raised a dog on my own, living with my partner. So, I had to learn, when he's doing his little circles, his poopy dance, that means you need to try to take him outside. That's when he needs to use the potty. So maybe it stuck at some point. There is a moment in time where I think maybe his name was solidified as Poopy when I don't know how he did, but he got into cat litter. And for those of you who don't know, dogs for some reason are drawn to cat shit. And he ate a bunch. And then he decided to puke all of that up on the couch. So at that point in time, I felt like if we're already calling him Poopy, it was okay, your nickname is Poopy. And so now we basically call him Poopy 95% of the time. We refer to him as his government name if he's in trouble, or if we really want to get his attention, although he can't hear now because he's 12, so he has lost his hearing, unfortunately. But if he does something mean, if he tries to make trouble with the kitty and tackle the kitty, I'll say Vladimir. But for the most part, he's Poopy for all intents and purposes, and it's Poopy in the most loving way imaginable. It's not oh, you're a shithead, you're Poopy. He's my Poopy. I love him. Okay, so Anonymous Anomaly, try to say that 3 times, has another question. What's the stupidest and most facepalm thing you've seen this year? Holy shit! I mean, that's a loaded question because there's quite a bit. If I had to choose one, though, oh man, this is tough. This is really tough. Maybe in general, the response to Charlie Kirk's assassination, I think that after the right has been so vociferous in condemning cancel culture, their response to that, which resulted in a total of 600 Americans getting fired, was just insane. And, nobody expects them to be consistent. Everybody knows that they're hypocrites, but they went so overboard that they ended up causing backlash. And now Kirk is a meme. His face is on everybody else, and people are deliberately going out of their way to kind of make fun of him because that is something that they made taboo. So I think that just the way that it blew up in their faces, that'd be the stupidest thing. Close second is, the Democrats in the Senate caving and letting our healthcare prices go up and the whole shutdown fiasco. That's more infuriating, but it's also very stupid as well. Next question is from Mike Murdoch on Patreon, who asks, besides video games, what are your other hobbies to help cope with the insanity that we are living in? So this is... there's not a lot that I do outside of video games, but if I had to choose a couple of things, one, I'd say organizing. I am somebody who likes to organize things. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but when I say organize, I mean I'm one of those people who has label maker, and I have bins, and I label shit. So I really enjoy doing that. I organize things to make sure everything's in its perfect place. I don't like clutter, so that. And then additionally, I am a huge AFOL, which means adult fan of Lego. I love putting together Lego sets. I think it is so cool, the sets that they have now. The Game Boy, the modular sets that they're putting out are really cool. The problem with Lego is that, don't have the most space, and it's a very, very pricey hobby, so I don't have Lego as like something that I could do all the time. It's kind of like, okay, here, I bought a set. I could put this together, and then it's going to be a couple of months until I get another set. So I really cherish it. But if I had unlimited space and unlimited resources, I would buy a fuck ton of Lego and just do that all the time. Probably more than video games. But it really is video games. Like that's my go-to. I'm always playing something. Every time I have free time, I'm playing a video game. I'm a fucking nerd. What can I say? But I love it. Okay. Kitten Cat on Patreon asks, what is a base level politician action you think everyone should do? What is a political action you think every rich person should do? What is a political... Okay, so there are multiple questions. Let me just take them in parts. Let me start with the first one again. What is a base level political action you think that everyone should do? I think that the most easiest thing to do is, of course, register to vote. That's simple. And get involved to the extent that you can with a local organization like DSA, perhaps a local activist group. Attend a town hall if one of your representatives or senators decides to show up. That's very easy. I think that's something everybody really should do. Second question, what is a political action you think every rich person should do? Well, I can't say what I really think without getting demonetized, so I'm going to beam my true thoughts into your brain so you know what I'm thinking that every rich person should do. But my, I guess, PC answer, for lack of a better word, is give away all of their wealth until they have the same amount of money that we have. And when I say give away all of their wealth, I mean not to like a charity, but like help a family in need. Like fucking buy them a house and pay off their mortgage. Pay off student loan debts, like help people directly, do straight up direct mutual aid. Like you don't need fucking $5 million. You don't need $100 million. You don't need $1 billion. Help people. If you're comfortable, then use that money to make the world a better place. And don't do it for clout. Don't film yourself doing it. Just do it. Just be a good person and use your wealth to better people's lives. That is something that every rich person should do. That's what Jesus would want them to do, unironically, right? Okay, next question here from Kitten Cat. What is a political action you think everyone with lots of time should do? Well, that's easy. Absolutely get involved. Get involved in local mutual aid groups, volunteer for a food bank, animal shelter. Actually dedicate your time to making the world a better place. If you have the time, I think that is phenomenal. It also makes you feel good about yourself. You build relationships and friendships. I think that's a great thing to do. What is a niche political action? What is a niche political action you think is useful, but not many people think to do? That one's a little bit more tricky. A niche political action. I think, honestly, a niche political action would be to volunteer for a candidate that you support in your community and either phone bank or go door knocking. Door knocking is something that not a lot of people like to do for obvious reasons. We've all become very introverted, and I'll admit I was a canvasser before. I didn't go door knocking, but standing on a corner and trying to get people to sign petitions it's very, very draining. If you have a social battery, it will be drained very quickly. You meet some really cool people, you meet some really shitty people. So if people are very extroverted and they like talking to people, calling people, going door to door, then that could be used towards a candidate that might be awesome. A DSA member, somebody who is running for public office in your area, do that, and that'd be great. I say it's niche because not a lot of people do it, right? It's easy. It's easier to just donate $5 here and there because we're all working, we're busy, but that would be something that I think really could make a difference. Next question here. So moving over to the YouTube questions. So Sun asks, do you know of Mystery Science Theater 3000? Of course I know of Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's definitely, before my time, but I'm very much aware of that. Yeah. Beach Bra 247 asks, and this is on YouTube as well. Hey, Mike, how is your husband doing and dealing with everything going on? Well, thank you for asking. That's very kind of you. He's editing this video right now. And I'm assuming, like me, he is feeling complete and utter burnout and brain rot because, much like me, he has to stay plugged in every single day, know what's going on, because he's not just like an editor, he also fact checks me and he listens to the arguments that I'm making and he'll tell me this doesn't really make sense. What you're saying here, it could have been said, a better way. And he has to deal with me trying to debate him sometimes. And I'm like, no, this. And he's like, no, you're not understanding what I'm trying to tell you. So he deals with not just the brain rot, but also making sure that the videos you watch are as polished as possible. And I'm making it seem like I'm more difficult than I am. I'm not. But like he puts in the work and makes everything so awesome, so special. So, given everything that he has to deal with, I think he's doing well. But of course, like all of us, he's very depressed with the state of the world. He is depressed with everything that's happening, and he hates Trump and just hates dealing with the stupidity of them. I mean, basically, we're married, so our political views are identical on every single conceivable level. And like me, it's really draining at times. So hopefully this vacation that we're taking, it's more of a staycation since we're sitting on our asses playing video games, is going to do wonders for both of our mental health, because he's also very much distraught at the state of the world as well. How could you not be, right? Okay. Flippant Fish Taco on YouTube asks, how do we create a world where Fox News doesn't exist? How do we get back to a world where truth matters and liars are shamed? I mean, in terms of Fox News, I think that you can't really put the cat back in the bag. And if Fox News goes away, there's going to be some other entity that takes its place. In fact, I think that these days Fox News is like not even the tip of the iceberg. You've got OAN, Newsmax, not to mention, YouTubers, TikTok. There's just right-wing media isn't just centered on that one network anymore. You get it everywhere. And so I think that the way that you get people to the point where the truth matters is you have to teach them media literacy. We need to go back and just teach people basic civics again. Reading, writing. We need people to be instilled with the skills to be able to sniff out bullshit. Right now, Americans cannot sniff out bullshit. They couldn't detect bullshit if their lives depended on it. So, and that's because there's a lot of bullshit going on around. I mean, think about it. If you're just like barely following politics and you see everything that's happening and you try to read an article, I mean, you would be so lost right now. Like, I know what's going on. You know what's going on. Barely, right? With everything happening. Because we've been following this shit for so long. But I mean, like, if you're just getting involved, you're like, you just registered to vote for the first time. Where do you even begin? So I think that there needs to be an effort society-wide, mind you, to give people these skills, because like without it, it's tough. Like, there's a bunch of kooky movements, anti-vaxxers, fucking Nazi groups emerging. And I think that is a complete and utter failure of our society. So we've got to try to give people those skills to not fall for dumb shit. How do we do that? That's a whole fucking question that is above my pay grade that I'm not qualified to answer. Okay. Obsolete Elite on YouTube asks, why is it that horror movies are booming in a time of distress and upheaval here in America? Could horror movies actually be an escape from the true horrors we are facing today, or do they help us confront our fears? I think it's the former as opposed to the latter. I personally enjoy horror movies. I think just, at surface level, I find them really entertaining and fun, and I don't really get scared. I actually think they're very stupid a lot of the times, but in like the best way possible. But for me, if something actually does scare me, I think it is nice to escape, because when, I'm done watching that, I realize, okay, maybe the real world isn't that bad in a weird way. I'm not really sure. It's hard to know why. I guess I don't know why horror films click with me, but I just find them entertaining. I used to really like comedies. Now I like horror. I don't know. Maybe it's coping. Maybe it's not. I'm not really sure. That's not a great answer to the question, so I apologize. Pendulous Dragon asks, if you could bring back one politician throughout our 250-year experiment, whether it be dead or alive, who would it be and what would you ask them? Oh, this is tough because there's so many options. I kind of have multiple answers to this. Obviously, George Washington, the very first president, I'd have a lot to ask him about the design, the very, very idiotic design of our entire system and how fucked it is, and the hypocrisy where, he's preaching freedom yet has slaves and built the system around the institution of slavery. I would want to pick his brain, but at the same time, I feel like I would want to blow my brains out in Minecraft. So I don't know, maybe him. There's also, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. There's a president. We just talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the channel. There's a president who supported Medicare for all, or the equivalent of Medicare for all, and was ready to sign it into law if it were to get on his desk until the American Medical Association decided to lobby against it. I would want to talk to that president and ask him if he understands what he is doing and the amount of lives that this decision, this capitulation is going to cost in the long run. I would love to talk to him about that. Why am I blanking on his fucking name? It's not FDR. I know FDR supported Medicare for all as well. This is post-FDR. I don't know. Go back and find the last video I talked about healthcare. I think it was with the actor James Van Der Beek. I played the clip from More Perfect Union in there where they talk about that president. My brain is so cooked. Holy shit, I can't remember anything lately. That and maybe this one is more recent, Obama. I would want to talk to Obama because Obama is most responsible for my past, present, and current trajectory because I got interested in politics because of Obama. I loved that he was anti-war, really my main issue going into the 2008 Democratic Party primaries was the Iraq War, because that was the first time I could vote. I was radicalized by the Iraq War, and he did not end the war. I thought that he would. He did not. In fact, he ramped up Bush's drone war, and that truly radicalized me. And what he did kind of imprinted this cynicism on me that will never, ever dissipate. I can never trust any politician ever again because I staked my hopes and dreams on Barack Obama, and he let me down in so many ways that I think that, his betrayal, his neoliberalism, his conservatism, it really is a radicalizing factor for a lot of millennials. And it's just, I would love to pick his brain. Why? Why not even pursue a public option? Why the drone war? Do you feel guilty from the deaths that you caused? Do you feel guilty for the PTSD that children in Pakistan have whenever it's a sunny day and the drones went over? I would love to talk to a president just to ask them, how do you deal with the weight of your disgusting decisions? How do you live with yourself, basically? That's what I would want to ask them. Okay, a couple more. Cartoon49 asks, what major powerful company would you want to see break up or disassemble? I think the real question is, what major company would I not want to see broken up? Because so many of them have to be broken up. I mean, we basically are controlled by just a small handful of corporations at this point, a handful of mega corporations. Amazon needs to be broken up. Google needs to be broken up. Facebook needs to be broken up. All the movie studios, it's just all owned by a couple of companies now. Paramount needs to be broken up. All these motherfuckers need to be broken up. I can't pick just one because all of this is so detrimental to society to have just a small handful of billionaires control all media and commerce. That is truly dystopian. And it's not surprising because this is the end result of late-stage capitalism, but I think that we just need antitrust at a massive scale. We need an FDR type of president that's going to go in and break all these motherfuckers up, because if you don't, things will just continue to get worse. So I can't answer that question, unfortunately, without saying just all of the companies have to be broken up. I know that that's kind of a cop-out, but that's my feeling. All of them. I think that if you, went down at the micro level, I could probably, I'd lean towards Google maybe. I'd lean towards certain companies, but I don't know. At the end of the day, they all just need to be broken up for sure. Okay. Narrator asks on YouTube, will the left media space ever actually reckon with its complicity in arguing against those calling for a 2024 Democratic primary against Biden? I don't really know who you're referring to, Narrator, because I don't think I remember any leftists explicitly arguing against a Democratic primary. I think that they were just like, hey, whatever, Kamala is the VP. She was on the ticket already. Just, it's fine. I think everybody wanted a primary. But it's just a matter of like, we have a couple of weeks until the election. Let's get Joe Biden's old ass out of there. In terms of complicity, I wouldn't say that any leftist is complicit, because like the Democratic Party isn't listening to anybody in the left media space. They're not going to like reevaluate their position because they heard the Majority Report or Mike from Leftist Mafia say, hey, you know, did you hear what Mike said? I don't think they give a fuck about what we have to say. Some politicians listen to us, and that's encouraging. But overall, the broader Democratic apparatus does not give a flying fuck about what we have to say. So I don't think we have any culpability there. Last but not least, we have Femtastico on YouTube who asks, what is your top 5 indie games of the year? Oh, this is a good question. I actually, you know what? I have a list on my phone of all the games that I played this year. Let me go through and read them off for you. Okay. So the first Berserker Kazan, I don't know if that qualifies as indie, but this is like peak Souls-like games. I feel like it's probably not indie. So let me go through and okay, you know what? This is indisputable. Okay, my number 1 indie game. Okay, let me just rank them. Okay, let me start over. Number 1. Oh, no. No, I got to go backwards from 5 to 1. Okay, that's how I do it. Okay. But let me decide. Oh, this is a tough fucking question, okay? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Number 5, Power Wash Simulator 2. I don't know why I love this game. I fucking love this game. I love power washing things. For those who are like, well, why don't you just power wash shit in real life? I do. I just, you run out of things to power wash. So I do. So I love power washing in real life. I love it digitally. That's number 5. Number 4 is Water Park Simulator. I love these simulator games. I think that they are super, super fun. It's like catnip to me. So I played TCG Simulator this year, Supermarket Simulator, Water Park Simulator. Oh, do I want to replace Water Park with TCG Simulator? Did I play that this year or last year? I think that's last year. We'll stick with Water Park because I already said it, but that was a really fun game. I put like 30 hours into it, had a blast. Okay, number 3. Yeah, number 3, Baby Steps. That was such a frustrating fucking game, and I have no idea why I decided to play it. At the same time, I had a blast. I thought that the humor was really good. I loved the hell out of this. And yeah, that's number 3. Number 2, this is going to be controversial, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is everybody's number 1, just like period. I think that this game was fantastic. The story, the music, the gameplay, I was glued to it. I did not expect to like it this much because I'm not necessarily the biggest turn-based RPG guy. Nonetheless, I was hooked. I love this game. But my number 1 is actually going to be Schedule 1. This game rocked my tits off. Schedule 1 was so fucking fun. For those who've never heard of this, this is a game where it's basically kind of like a cozy game, low-key, but instead of, farming crops, you are, cultivating marijuana and cocaine and other drugs, and you're selling it, and it's such a riot. I played it in co-op with my husband. We were glued to this game for a whole weekend, just did nothing but play this game, and it was so much fun. I'm really nostalgic for that because we got to play it together. I'd say, yeah, Schedule 1. So that's it. That's all the questions that I have. But if I didn't answer your question or you want to see me answer additional questions, you know what? I'm feeling generous. Type them in the comment section. Maybe I'll answer. I might not because, again, I'm trying to cleanse my mind of politics, but maybe I'll answer a couple of questions. I definitely won't be able to answer all of them, but if you want to see more questions answered, then if you made it this far in the video, I at least owe you a consideration of answering your question if I'm not too lazy or drunk, right? So yeah, look, it's been a phenomenal year all around, and I'm excited to see what's in store for next year. As I say that, I'm like, no, I'm not, man. I'm dreading what the fuck is coming up. So look, it's been a year, and I guess the good thing is that we have this wonderful community here. So I appreciate you all watching. As sad and depressing as the times are, the fact that you're listening to me complain about politics and I don't know, you find that cathartic is wonderful. I really value the fact that I have this platform, and I will be here as long as you all want me to be here, assuming that I don't lose my fucking mind. So yeah, that's the Q&A. Take care, everybody.
An immunity decision is not a common issue, and having to have a new evidentiary issue added to the mix in addition to immunity issue, I don't think this is...
Is there any new evidence in 165-page brief?
I'm sure there was, but as I said, my recollection is the majority of the evidence was already public. The brief emphasized how we could prove our case using evidence of his role as a candidate, as opposed to evidence that might otherwise be precluded by the official act. So, for example, a thing in the brief would be that at least two of the White House staff members who would have been witnesses, that they also were also working on the campaign. And so not a particularly important fact in the world, but important for our particular brief. So there were facts like that and others that were new that were in the brief.
I just want to summarize that, but you choose to do this, not required. You go out of the normal order, so that's different. It's 4 times the size of the brief that the court wants you to file, 45 pages, and you do 165 pages. The judge herself said it was atypical. You introduced new evidence that is public, and you did this 32 days before the election. And public integrity said, just fine.
They agreed that our course was consistent and in compliance with the election year.
Same public integrity said that all the toll analysis was just fine. Okay. Thanks.
Were you, during the pendency of the investigation, were you aware that at the Capitol on January 6th, FBI had confidential human sources?
I'm sure I probably was. I think there was public reporting on that.
But did you know that also as part of your work?
I'm sure, yeah.
Okay. And do you know how many there were?
As I sit here now, I can't recall. I know there was an Office of Inspector General report about this, that there were no undercover officers there, as had been reported, but there were informants there, some who had gone on their own.
And did your office oppose President Trump's discovery request for information relating to the confidential human sources?
I would have to look at our filings on that.
Okay. As we understand it, your office did oppose that and said any such information is not relevant to the charged conduct or as a valid defense in the case. And so consequently, you were not in favor of that Does that ring any, refresh your recollection at all?
I'm not disputing what you're saying. I haven't read the filing. What I recall is there was also a database of evidence from January 6th that the DC U.S. Attorney's Office would give access to defendants who were involved in those cases, and we gave President Trump and his attorneys access to that. I'm not sure they ever accessed it, but
Okay.
I do recall that, and there may have been a filing like you talked about.
Okay. Let me make this an exhibit. The next exhibit will be number 12, and this is a letter from Stanley Woodward, Stan Brand, about the interactions they had with Jay Bratt on August 24th, 2022, before you were appointed special counsel. You familiar with the allegations that Mr. Woodward raised about Mr. Bratt?
Yes.
I'm going to refer you to two paragraphs in this letter. The first paragraph is the last one on page 1, and the second paragraph on page 2. And please, familiarize yourself with this. But I just wanted to flag in advance that I'm going to zero your attention in on those two paragraphs.
Yes.
Okay. This letter to Judge Boasberg from Brandon Woodward states that again, this is the last paragraph on page 1. Despite the purported purpose of the meeting, it began with Department Attorney Jay Bratt referencing a folder of materials in highlighting Mr. Woodward's professional background. Specifically, Mr. Bratt remarked that he was aware of the fact that Mr. Woodward had been recommended for a presidential nomination to the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. Mr. Bratt also advised that the government's case against Mr. Nuada was strong, referencing his belief that one way or the other, Mr. Nuada would be giving up a lifestyle of private planes and private golf courses, and that it would behoove him, Mr. Nuada, to cooperate in the government's investigation. It was inappropriate for Mr. Bratt to mention the fact that Mr. Woodward had been recommended for a presidential nomination to the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. The only rational inference to be drawn from this reference, combined with the assertion that the government's case against Mr. Nuada was strong and that Mr. Woodward was not a so-called Trump attorney who would do the right thing, is that somehow Mr. Woodward's potential nomination to the Superior Court would be implicated by Mr. Nuada's decision not to cooperate in the government's investigation. Indeed, to the best of Mr. Woodward's recollection, Mr. Bratt concluded his observations with words to the effect of, "I wouldn't want you to do anything to mess that up," referring to the potential nomination. It is, of course, noteworthy that the statements giving rise to this inference were coming from a senior official with the Justice Department. I asked you whether you had a recollection of these events, and you said you did.
I do.
Do you think it was inappropriate for Mr. Bratt to make a suggestion to Mr. Woodward that he ought to cooperate, and if he does cooperate, if Mr. Nuada chooses to cooperate, that the implication was that his application to be a judge will be looked on more favorably by the Democrats at the Justice Department?
I don't think that happened, but I'm happy to share with you my perspective on this.
Okay.
So,
And let me just say one
Yeah.
thing, if I may.
Sure.
These judges for the District of Columbia, I mean, the Justice Department weighs in on it. Is that not the case? I mean, the White House counsel's office, works to come up with the names they're gonna submit for a nomination. But the way the procedure works is the Justice Department, does the vetting.
I don't think I knew that until this issue came
Okay.
up, which I'm happy, again, happy
Yeah.
to explain. So, with the District of Columbia particularly.
Right. Okay.
Very short time before this, matter of days, this is right around the time we had given notice that we intended to move forward with an indictment in the classified documents case of both Mr. Trump, President Trump and Mr. Nada. As is my practice in cases like this, we gave Mr. Trump's attorneys an opportunity to come in and give me argument as to why not to indict the case. And in the course of my life, I've heard those arguments and sometimes not move forward on cases. In this particular situation, because my decision would ultimately be reviewed by the Attorney General, who could countermand it, that meeting was with me and Bradley Weisheimer, who was in the Justice Department. Mr. Trump's attorneys were there. It was Jim Trusty, Lindsay Halligan, and there was a third attorney who I can't remember, but I'm sure there's a record of who that was. They gave reasons why they thought the case shouldn't be indicted. And for the first time, this is my recollection, they raised this issue that somehow Jay Bratt had threatened Stanley Woodard. Now, I was surprised by this because we had interacted, I hadn't, but my counsel had interacted with Mr. Woodard numerous times over my time as special counsel. He not only represented Walt Nada, he represented other witnesses on the classified documents case. He represented, I believe, multiple people in the elections case. And so all this time passing, this has never been raised before. I went back to my office. That meeting was